Well, it's the end of 2023. I thought I'd do a little review of my YouTube channel, I Make Beer. This is obviously, if you've been watching my videos, definitely my first attempt at anything on YouTube. So I'm glad everyone stuck with me. 2024, I want to improve, do a lot more beers. And then we'll, do some on-site things, a couple other things that I want to do. But I wanted to do a quick review, throw a shout out to everyone that's subscribed, people that view my channel and haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You liked my channels, you made comments. I've been trying to get back to all the comments that I can. So I really appreciate it. So if you've been watching me from the beginning, my video editing is definitely improved. The first video I made, I think I was using my iPhone, and now I've gone out and purchased an actual camera and do my videos on that. Tripods, I've got lights, wireless microphones, excuse me. I have another microphone that I use on my computer, and headphones, things like that. Some things that are about me personally that I may or may not have said in any videos I've done in the past. You'll see that I wear Genesee Brewery shirts often. Just to give you a little information, I do work at the Genesee Brew House, which is our pilot brewery facility next door to the actual Genesee Brewery here in Rochester, New York. I do the brewery tours of the pilot brewery, and then I also do some beer tending a couple days a week. So I retired. We're coming up on 3 years now. I was a New York State employee. I was an investigator with the New York State Education Department when I retired. Just prior to that, I was an investigator with the New York State Liquor Authority. Prior to that, I was an investigator with the New York State Labor Department. And then actually before that, I was a deputy sheriff with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department here in the Rochester, New York area. I started brewing beer, an extract. Somebody bought me a stupid little beer kit, and so I started brewing around 1998. Sort of brewed on and off, as time went on. Nothing real hardcore. And probably back around 2008, I jumped back into it, and I was still doing extract at that time, but I was brewing a lot more consistently. And then I switched over to all grain probably 2012. And then in 2022, so it would be not this past summer, the summer before, like about a year and a half ago, I purchased a claw hammer, 10-gallon 240 volt system, and that's what I use now. And all my videos that you've been watching on YouTube have always been on the claw hammer. Great system. Obviously, I've never tried any other brew in a bag type systems or any other electric systems, but having electric is awesome because here in New York, winters are cold and you're using propane, so you're pretty much out in the garage or outside to brew, and so winter times get a little bit dicey because I don't have a heated garage. But now with the electric, I'm down in the basement. Doesn't matter what the weather is outside, I have no reason not to brew. As we step back to my first video, which was the AI black lager, artificial intelligence black lager. That was actually the first lager I've ever made. I had recently, prior to that, converted an old refrigerator into my fermentation chamber. So I bought an Inkbird Temperature control, I actually got the wireless one, which is actually really nice because the wireless one gives me the opportunity to actually adjust the temperature wherever I am. There was actually a brew I was doing while on vacation on a cruise, and as long as my phone was hooked up to Wi-Fi, I was actually able to cold crash that while I was over in the Mediterranean. The first video, the AI lager, black lager, I did in 2 parts. I definitely could have condensed that into one video, probably a 15-minute. Most of my videos are about 15 minutes now, but that was the first one. I thought I would do it in 2 steps. The brewing in one part and then the tasting in another part. I've since learned, unless it's like a super, super complicated brew day, doing it all in one video is definitely the way to go. I also purchased a Firmzilla fermenter. Great fermenter. I like that it's able to hold pressure up to 30 psi. That's great for pressure fermenting, especially when you get into the lagers, because you don't really have to be strict on the cooler temperatures. You can ferment warmer as long as you got some pressure on it. But it does also quicken up the fermentation process. So if you ferment an ale and you have a little pressure on it, 10 psi, that's going to ferment a little bit quicker than it would, if it was just, freely expelling the CO2. Also, having the Firmzilla fermenter has made kegging way easier. I now have 0 or at least very minimal oxygen exposure. I can close transfer right into my kegs, right out of the fermenter. Dry hopping with the collection jar at the bottom of the Firmzilla. I will, after dumping trub or whatever, I'll take that off, clean it out, sanitize it, add the hops into that, put it back onto the bottom of the Firmzilla, pressurize it, and when you open that butterfly valve, then the hops just go right up inside. So it makes another way of keeping oxygen out of your fermenter. After I completed the AI Black Lager, I then did my Tropical Pale Ale. I then did what I called Wit Dreams wit beer. After that, then I did my Stone Cold IPA, which was a cold IPA. First time I had ever done a cold IPA, and which turned out really well. I really liked that style of beer. And this one actually was one of the first videos that jumped me up over 100 views. Doesn't sound like a lot, and in reality, it's really not a lot. But for just starting out, only having 3 videos out at that time, this was my 4th or 5th, whatever it was. Jumping up to 166 views on this one particularly, I was like, whoa, great, I got all these views. After that, I did a blonde ale, and then I did my Mosaic Cream Ale. If you go back to the Mosaic Cream Ale video, I was going to compare it with the Mosaic Cream Ale from the brew house. When I filled the crowler can at work to bring home, I thought I grabbed the wrong beer when I opened up the can and I poured it. And I was smelling it, and it smelled the same, but the look wasn't right. And then when I got back to work, I actually found out that it was the right beer. I had the right beer with me. I doubted that it was the right beer when I was making the video, so I didn't end up pouring it in a glass and actually comparing the 2 side by side. I shouldn't have doubted myself, but all of a sudden I just went, oh, is this the right one? I may have filled up the crowler with the wrong beer. So I didn't compare the 2, side by side. But anyways, that Mosaic Cream Ale was one of the videos that really, everyone sort of liked. I got over 1,600 views as of today. And I got a lot of comments on that one too. In particular, I got one comment that somebody had actually asked why I added sugar in the brew process. Like the last 15 minutes, I added maybe a half a pound or a quarter pound, I can't remember what it was, into the brew kettle. And it was just table sugar. And for the life of me, I can't remember why I did it. I know I was doing research on cream ales, not necessarily the Genesee Brewery Mosaic Cream Ale, but cream ales in general. And for some reason, sugar came up in my research, and I added it into the recipe. So I'd have to actually go back and look up that research that I did to find out why I specifically added sugar. because I really can't answer that, except that it would dry it out and boost the ABV. But that wasn't my reason. I know that wasn't it. The next video was a IPA. I called it my experimental IPA, and it was made with experimental hops that I actually was given by Dean Jones at the Genesee Brew House. He is our master brewer there, and they were brought in to the brew house from the distributor, you know, basically just saying, here, give these a try, see what you think. So I brought them home and I tried them. So the experimental IPA, I used my experimental hops, and I also used Mosaic hops. I really like Mosaic hops in making IPAs or things similar to that. I really sort of lean towards Mosaic. After the experimental IPA video, I did a video on the life expectancy of Star San. I had read somewhere that Star San has a shelf life, and so I called Star San up, asked them what the pH should be in solution, not the undiluted Star San, but actually after you mix it. And you can watch that video to see what Star San had to say about it. Then I did a barley wine video. That one I actually made, the barley wine was made prior to a couple of the other videos, but I had let that age for a couple months. I still have some of that. I'm just letting it go, and I try it every month or 2 months to see how it's progressed. It's really good beer. I really like barley wines. I am going to try a wheat wine next year sometime. I've never made a wheat wine, so we'll see how that turns out. After that video, I started my brew series, or brewer series, I guess, or however you want to call it. Basically just giving step-by-step instructions on how to brew beer. First video, I was really emphasizing the extract brewing and the equipment needed for those beginner brewers. And then I went on to another video after that. I've got 3 more in that series to do. I wanted to do one a month, and I haven't been able to. I just getting busy trying to do the brew day videos, and I haven't gotten back to it. I promised that will be done. I made a wee heavy or Scotch ale. That one, when I designed the recipe for this particular brew day, I changed it from one that I've done prior, and I like the old one better. So I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to go back to my old recipe. I just think it came out a lot better. And even though my wee heavy that I did do this time actually was very good, I had very good comments on it. I've got a couple guys at work that are just Scotch ale lovers. That's a lot what they drink, is mostly just Scotch ales. And so they loved it. They thought it was great. A really close friend of mine is another Scotch ale lover. It's really the only beer he drinks. He doesn't drink much else but Scotch ale. And my old recipe was probably one of his favorite Scotch ales he's ever had. So I'm going to switch back to that old one, and we'll get into that in 2024. And maybe, you know, compare the 2 videos and see what my differences are. I already know one difference is going to be roasted barley, smoked barley. I did a bourbon barrel aged stout. Wasn't actually in a bourbon barrel. What I had done is I bought oak chips, soaked them in bourbon, probably for a month, probably around a month. And I made a stout, and then after fermentation had ceased, I transferred it into, you know, a bucket, 5-gallon pail, added the oak chips along with whatever bourbon was left in the jar that they were soaking in, and then I let that age for a few months. I brought that into work also. Bunch of guys tried that, and girls. I can't say, I'm just not saying guys, but people. And that was another one that really came out terrific. I was actually very surprised at how good that one was. I didn't know how the bourbon was gonna come out, you know, in the flavor. And it's not heavily bourbony tasting, but it came out really good. It's just a nice, subtle background bourbon that accompanies that stout. And they both were delicious, or it was delicious, the combination. If you've seen the Kentucky Common, we'll be doing that one again. That one was when I had brewed the entire Kentucky Common, put it in the fermenter, and where I discovered that my fermenter had a leak. The collection jar at the bottom of the fermenter, actually, there was a crack in it, and I didn't realize that, and all the wort actually leaked out within a day or two. especially after it started to ferment, because then pressure built up and it was all over the place. So that then made me figure I should probably pressure test my Firmzilla. And it does recommend, if you have a Firmzilla or an all-rounder or any of those fermenters, it's printed on the side of the fermenter when you should pressure test it, and not to use it under pressure until you have done a pressure test. I think it's 3 years after manufacturing date. I think that's what it is, but the date's on the side. So I ended up doing my pressure test. There's a video on how you do that. There's a couple different ways to do it. Really, the way I did it is probably the most common way, because people do not have a way of monitoring the pressure of their tap water. So that was one way to do it, but who's monitoring their pressure in their tap water? So if you watch the video, then you'll be able to check it out on how you do pressure or pressure test a Firmzilla all-arounder, one of those fermenters. I made a Czech premium pale lager this year. This one I did decoction mash, came out excellent. This was probably one of the best beers I've made so far. Great beer, really loved by a lot of people. They were actually really surprised at the amount of flavor that was in this lager itself. I did get a lot of comments on my video at the bottom in regards to why I did decoction, the way malts are processed now. You don't have to do decoction mash. I didn't do decoction mash to specifically enhance the flavor of the beer by changing the malts. I did it as an experiment to do decoction mash to see how it was done, and the whole process. It turned out that the beer turned out fabulous. So whether that was because of decoction mashing or it was just the recipe itself. So maybe I'll do it again and not decoction mash, and maybe we'll see if it is better or worse or the same. And also the Czech Pale Lager also received a lot of views. That one was over 1,600 views. So that one was actually a pretty good video. So after that failure on my Kentucky Common, I also went back into Beersmith and really quickly designed a new IPA just based on the ingredients that I had here. And I called it Emergency IPA because I was in a rush and it was an emergency. I needed a beer so I could video. That one was actually, so far, my most popular video. That one had over 2,100 views. Again, these numbers are low compared to a lot of the other brew channels that are out there on YouTube. But, like I said, I'm just getting going. Hopefully, some of these guys have been doing this for years. So I hope to, get more subscribers and a lot more views as time goes on. I'm sure it's been going up. So I can't complain. If it's going in the other direction, then I'm doing something wrong. I'm currently getting my calendar together for 2024, trying to do at least 2 brews a month, every 2 weeks. And so I'm working on that schedule right now, trying to get that put together. I've already got, the next beer is getting kegged this weekend. Hopefully that one will come out next week. And then I also have 2 more beers that I'm going to brew this month. I think I will get one of them into a video by the end of the month. The next one is actually going to be for a video later on. I started making this one ahead of time. But I've already got, I've got most of the first 5 months or so scheduled. So I'm good with that. And then we're going to be throwing in some other things this year. I'm setting up a on-site visit to a malt house here in the Rochester area to show how barley has gone through the malting process. So I've been through this place before on my own. It's really interesting. It's a small little malt house. They just do a craft beer just locally for people, breweries and distilleries in the area. I get my bulk grain there, my Pilsner, my 2-row. I think they got Vienna. They got a couple other things. Obviously, the real specialty malts they don't do, but they do more of the bulk grain base malt stuff that people will be using. I also want to do some collaborations with other YouTube channels. I have reached out to one particular channel, and they have at least given me an interest in doing one together. So hopefully I can do that, maybe do a couple of them this year. I want to get out to do some location videos at maybe some of the small breweries here in our area here in Rochester and in the Finger Lakes. We have a lot of breweries in the area, especially in the Finger Lakes region, where there's a lot of breweries and wineries. Obviously, New York State Finger Lakes wine is pretty well known. I'll probably be purchasing some new equipment this year. So if I end up getting anything that's interesting or you know, really helps out your brew day or the brewing process, you know, I'll do a video, or at least add it into a video that I'm doing. And to finish this up, basically, guys, I'm really happy that I have these followers, and I hope to get more. You know, like the videos, make comments. I try to get back to every comment, as I said, as best I can. I probably won't get back to the comments of somebody just being a total jerk, but you know, it happens. But I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. You know, that's the name of the game on YouTube. The more you get your videos liked and subscribed to, it gets pushed out to more people, and then more people can see my content, which I hope will help people in their brewing, home brewing. I look forward to 2020. I almost said 19. 2024. I think it's going to be a really good year this year. I'm really going to be, you know, ambitiously pumping out these videos. If you do make comments, give me some ideas, something that you want to see, or if you know something around the area in Rochester, it may be something that would be interesting that you think people on YouTube would want to watch. You know, I can go hunt it down and you know, we'll make a video on it. So again, guys, it's 30th of December. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Let's see how 2024 turns out. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot for watching.